Ayy, Sunshine Monet with the affirmations
peace,
to enjoy your day with
Sunshine Monet.
You are listening to Chakra Music.
I came through with intentions of destruction. You said you wanted freedom, well it's me then that you wanted. I moved in gratitude as my soul was being summoned. The consciousness has returned, Christ is really coming. I make these flows for the souls that drenched in indigo. I made some goals for they glow since they was embryos. Access the records, they lectures, keep your principles. Enemies infect you, don't let them reach your pinnacles. Reversing curses that's embedded in religion. They wound up in your soul, that's why you feel tension. I'm remixing the clenches before Sumerians existed. It's something in the water, don't get caught, you'll get acidic. I bury enemies, pay pinnacles to the witness. You say my name in threes, I appear in your vision. Write Iliads in me, I'm the witcher in your system. Silly as can be, there's no opposite in infinite. I'm the goddess of crossroads, touching all directions. With the skull and crossbones that call to the vexes. I applaud the protectors, I'm the god of inflection. They see the demon in me and still pause the respecters. I need no translation, vibrating from universe. My throat mansplaining while my yoni do the work. Mask off, crowns on, bombshell on all the arts. Mask off, crowns on, bombshell on all the arcs. Mask off, crowns on, bombshell on all the arcs. Mask off, crowns on, bombshell on all the arcs.
Enoch 7 prophet, move like the four winds do. My energy is useful, my thoughts are old school. So I move with a Bob Slim. Say I'm sexy, haircut like Anita Baker, real lovely. Caught up in the rapture, it's kinda risque. Kisses and faces on public is real frisky. Touche.
You are listening to Chakra Music.
Mask off.
Legendary in a Caesar, looking for a goddess with thunder thighs to be my Athena. And she ain't gotta sing, but it'd be nice if she could hit keys like Alicia. I could be your Martin, you could be my Gina, my PYT. But though the bunny is the bugs, the king looking for is Queen Latifah. I'm living la vida loca, mamacita, hola, como esta, chica? Hey, sweetie, you like you need something sweet. Looking for Mr. Right? I'm right here where you left me at. Here to spark some excitement in your life. Mr. One-Liner, I draw pickup lines. All I do is think about you. All I do is think about you.
To my Penelope, your aura big, yet you still smelling me. Licking lips like Bill Bellamy. I gotta love Jones for what you selling me. Poetic prose, spoken words and melodies. Floetic souls, working birds, fly to better things. I could be a road runner, yet you still catching me. Unforgettable like my bow tie ring, our soul tie tings, our flow rising. Unforgettable like Nat Cole sing, spiritual Coltrane, be my soulmate. Be over 10 to my Sinclair, the Kyle to my Maxine. Ain't no living single here, even got our Tamagotchis matching. No one's supposed to be here, but thank God we found. And I'm sitting up in my room and I just wanna be down. I hope you pull up on me soon so we can be out. Loving basketball too, ain't no rebounds. Peace, peace, y'all. Welcome to another Cosmic Nobody Conversation with Sunshine Monet L. I'm very excited to have this God on board with us today. Um, I won't take up too much time. I'll let this beautiful soul introduce herself and what it is that she does and how she goes about doing it. So without further ado, Miss Kitchi Kachina to the stage, y'all.
Sad. What's good, y'all? Kitchi, Kachina, which means brave spirit. A lot of people be asking, what's that mean? I just recently had like a name change. It went from Yoda, so I'm messing my friends up a little bit, and I apologize for the name switches.
That's all right. That's all right. So, you want to explain to us, who are you? What is it that you do?
Okay. I do everything. I move everything. So it feels like it, right? Speaking to another 11, I feel like you just do everything. And this is one of the things I would love to do, like create a podcast type stuff, but you never like reinvent the wheel. So it's perfect that you got this platform. So that means I don't have to do it. Just keep it rolling and move in your own capacity. But me, what I do, I said all of that basically just to say, like, I'm a mystic, you know. I never like claiming what I am and what I do because it is everything. I do a lot of readings, reports. I'm just an all around person people come to for information, health. Just a messenger, that 11. But when it comes to like professional wise and career, right now I'm in a transition. I went from being like a massage therapist, and I was using a lot of like energy healing techniques because I pretty much, I guess I'm a psychic, like many of us, like all of us basically. So, but I use certain psychic abilities to, tap into my clients at the time. So now I'm on a trajectory of, I guess, more teaching, more sharing, more wisdom, enlightenment. Is so much inside to talk about and share. So right now I'm in the middle of working on a journal workbook called Soul Atlas. It's a 3 series project, and it's made to like help people, you know, I want to say mine their lives. It's kind of like a Indiana Jones for yourself book to go into, and I think it's really dope. So I'm working on it like tirelessly every day. The first series is done, and now just moving forward. But then yeah, I want to do other things like real estate and big things, big powerful things. So working on that part. But as for now, I'm in school. I do a lot of transformational healing, breath work. Um, I guess training the body for, I guess, moving into breath Aryan level, like reaching those higher levels. So I'm more of a spiritualist, like really. Uh, if it was a past life, I would probably be a monk, or or just somewhere in a monastery working on your chi. So that's kind of what we're here to do, to ground that stuff. So that's basically just what I'm here to do. I'm a spiritual gangster, and I just keep moving in that space. And yeah, that makes sense.
No, that makes a lot of sense. Being 11 path number, finding the balance and harmony and all the facets of self. And sometimes that comes in alignment a lot of times with a different interests and different callings. Um, would you so when I first met you, you were speaking on a book that you came out with. Um, I would like for you to expand a little bit more on the book that you wrote and how your journey has been with writing it, putting it out, and the reception. How healing has the book been for you and your journey?
Well, like I said, it's called Soul Atlas. It's a journal workbook, and it's right now it's unfolded in such an interesting way. I'm realizing what it is going to do for people basically it's like a talisman. It's like your own personal talisman. It's the time you get to actually be your own narcissist. When everything is about you, and you just go into this book, you journal. It's gonna have categories and prompts and things, you know. So it starts from the series of being your adolescence. Again, it's 3 series. So the first series is adolescence. The second series is young adulthood, which is like age 18 to 29. And then the last series is your adulthood from 30 and above. And I consider that 30 above part is where people, like, the beginning of the book is going to teach you how to look at your life and mind all the symbols and every message that you ever received since you were young. And it's going to take you on your own inner journey through your subconscious mind, and it's going to take everything that's in your subconscious mind and put it in front of you. And then there's going to be a portion of that book where you know you get to do kind of like a vision board. And yeah, it's just I ain't gonna get too deep because I want everybody to have that full experience. But basically, it is really just learning how to mind and navigate this reality on your destiny path. Because basically, we end up, what prompted me, I guess, as a person. I'm 43. People don't think I'm 43. Well, I'm jumping. I'll be 43 in October. I'm jumping ahead, and I naturally do that. But that's kind of what I'm here doing, is kind of like being at Benjamin Buttons and going back as my inner child to figure out where did I go wrong. So now that I learned what the mistakes was and being in this matrix and all that kind of stuff, I was able to compose this ideal that came out of nowhere. About, it was through sacred geometry and understanding the spiral. Because I remember it was a time I was like into sacred geometry and I was trying to understand what it meant. Everybody's talking about dimensions, and I was like, huh? Spirit, what does that mean? And then I remember seeing the spiral one time. I was like a security guard walking in the parking lot, and then it just dawned on me, and I was like, oh shoot, that spiral. It was about creation. And it was just like that point, like it took me into the vision of the point where it starts. Everything starts somewhere. And from that starting, it has a spiral motion. It can either go up or go downwards. So you can have those upward spirals when you're growing, or you can have those downward spirals when you're imploding and everything's getting chaotic. But no matter what, either or, you're gonna spiral, and everything is always gonna come back to that source. So we keep creating, and then it just showed me like everything in your past and your present and your future is all because of that point. And once you learn how to look at that point, you can start creating and imploding and looking around and grabbing everything in your force. So basically, this book is gonna help people be a lot more conscious and open up their psychic abilities. It's really good for like parents who have children and they want to like get them on the right track. Again, because I was saying it was all these things I could have done in my life looking back, and I was like, Dad, there was all these opportunities that I missed and I didn't do. And if I had vigilant parents that cared about me, they would have set me on a path. I was very strong. I should have been a gymnast. Like I should have been like, I would have made them money. Then I noticed that parents don't invest in their children, and I'm like, whoa, like they look at their children because they're so stressed out. But with all of that, going through that, I was able to like create this piece for other people to not make those same mistakes and have more like markers along the way to guide themselves. So I'm very excited about this because I will be doing like workshops with it and with people, and I feel like it's gonna take off and have its own, wherever it goes. It's obviously for people to like learn how to navigate their own reality. Who cares that like I'm a vegan, but doesn't mean everybody's supposed to be a vegan. Like once you learn and look around, and life will tell you what you're really supposed to be. Like your higher self will tell you and guide you, which it is like your highest level of your diet. Some people didn't come here, to be a breatharian. Like some people came to like hold space. And sometimes eating animals give you those lessons that you need to ground to learn. So like everybody's different, and I want everybody to like find their way and shift and be able to understand other people and be like, oh wow, like my reality is my whole other dream versus their dream, and I can't even like what is their truth and what has been showing them. And like and it's just basically just came from that moment because I worked so many jobs. I was in the matrix. I kept trying to get ahead. I got degrees. I got certifications. I got all kinds of things that I was trying to get ahead here, and nothing was ever working. And it just, basically took me around all these different jobs, and I learned what jobs were. I learned what and how you can read businesses just from the ground up. Like, our whole government is messed up because you could tell the top is like, the top is not healthy, so the bottom isn't healthy. So I don't know. It just took me on so many like mind trips. And it's still doing it to this day. Like, I'm like, whoa, I need to take this down because maybe people gonna, have this question, or I'm still learning. I'm still using it for myself because things are unlocking, and every time it unlocks, and the more you go in deeper, like I could ask you, like, what was your high school mascot? And if you tell me what your high school mascot is, it'll have like some connotation of actually what it is that you're supposed to be doing in your purpose, or something along that line. Like my high school mascot was a tornado. I'm an air sign with I have nothing. I have a stellium of air in my I have no earth, and I just been moving like that. And it's like, and when I was younger, I was a whirlwind. I was like a tornado. Like, it really showed me like I didn't get anywhere I needed to go because that was the energy. But my first mascot when I was in elementary school was a panther. So I was like, oh, and I went to forestry school. That was my first elementary school. So like, these are the things I want people to take heed in. Like, what was the first name of the school? What's the locations? What's the da-da-da-da? And everything will start unlocking your subconscious mind. Like, okay, now you're getting it. Let me open up more and show you some things. And then that book is going to start talking to you even more. So it's kind of like some Harry Potter shit. But
Ashe, that's really important. Like, I had a Cosmic Nobody conversation earlier today, and I was speaking on how I wanted to get into vital statistics with my ability to read charts. Like, when you feel yourself, about to have a new addition to your family, maybe having more intentional births, more intentional conception, so you can pay attention to like, okay, we're in this space. This is your energy. This is my energy. This is the energy of the space that we're in. This is the intentional, baby we're trying to conceive in this space on this day, to be born in this space on this day, and then really paying attention to like how their pattern and their energy, influences the energy of the household. Sometimes it can influence the energy of your pet, the other kids you have in the house, you and your partner. And then also put in consideration a lot of women, like when women have, children, they take on the energy of their infant. And a lot of people don't realize that when, the man takes on the energy too. Like, we don't really pay attention to the non-physical parts of ourselves, and how like having a child or having a baby really matters and really affects that. So you'll have like relationships where like the person will have a baby and she completely shapeshifts, or his energy starts to feel like he starts to repel her. And it's because you have this energy with your energy, and that infant energy is doing something, and y'all can't put your finger on it. Y'all not paying attention to how like it really matters. These things really, really matter, and they really have effect. But we have been like watered down to a 3D level of, oh, this person just doesn't want me anymore. Guys act weird when a woman gets pregnant. When a woman gets pregnant, she's different. But nobody's paying attention to the non-physical aspects of these things, which are very important. So the book that you put out to let people know ahead of time is really important. I would definitely say not pitching, but more so presenting that information in those kind of journals to our youth is essential. I've been trying to get into the after school program vibe, and the coming into schools as a assembly and stuff like that for a while. So I definitely see that being like a really cool space to be in. And then people who are going through midlife crisis, and they're like, I had no idea what to do with my life for the first half. Like, oh, well, now you have this guide for the second part. What are you going to do with it? Come on, stop. I'm sorry. Scoop. But that's very important. So like, thank you for what you do, and thank you for finding strength and the experience you've experienced with learning yourself and using that as a healing moment for other people. Like, I went through this, you went through all these different positions and placements and things like that, and I'm dealing with Mercury. But so thank you for doing that. So what was the so I know you're like into your overall mystic, so it kind of would be like crazy to ask you like what started it all, but like what is the catalyst in your life that put you on this path for real? I know it's like finding direction and like in our root chakra with the obtaining of resources, but like when was the first time you really felt like spirit was speaking to you about something?
Oh man, I remember like being really tapped in when I was younger, and then I remember turning everything off at the age of 11. And then when everything came back on, I guess again, it was my whole world had to crumble really fast so I can even get to this mark. So again, I started late, but on time, of course. But I started my awakening, I guess, in 2009. Like, I remember things was crumbling even more when I got out the military. So I did a lot of things. Like, I went to college a couple times. Like, I went to school for occupational therapy, and then I went to the military. Then I got out the military, and I went to school again to finish up and use that GI Bill. Or something I'm not even using. Again, I was missing the signs. I could have, and looking back, I was like, dang, I should have been doing this and still, But I guess it all came when I moved to Delaware. I noticed that I was born in Newark, New Jersey, and then I ended up having my awakening in Newark, Delaware. So it was so wild, and then everything was crumbling. I was losing my money. I was very suicidal. So I remember going to a psychic and asking her, I just wanted to know why I'm here on this planet, because it's like I was doing everything, I was trying everything, and I was getting nowhere. I was still living with my folks, and somehow she was getting money out of me. I don't even know how I ended up going from like I had like $10,000 saved for the military or something, and I planned on like starting my little life and getting on my own, but I went to her after I went to a psychologist, but the psychologist said it was going to help me, but I was so concerned about money and like, paying, and I realized that was just poverty consciousness. And so I went the harder route, and I I went to the psychic, and she was, said I was cursed, basically, like gave her all of my money through doing some work, basically. And then I don't know, it was just one of those days I was scared, and I remember just being so scared because the stuff that she was having me do was mad supernatural. Like, she would be like, take an orange and put it on your belly. I remember having like snakes coming out of the orange because I had pain in my stomach for like a month, and I remember going to her. I was in a relationship, so basically I just like had my whole foundation like crumbled because I was in love with somebody, and then that was like for a week or so, and then they had to leave or like disappear. Like, we shared like great time, so it was my first time ever actually having someone like be in love with me back. And so I was like, yo, it was like a heart opener, because I never really been attached to people in life, and never had bonds before. And so that was my first time, and they usually call those first time people those like heart openers, and they suck because they break you to you think you never broke before. And that's kind of what happened. And I was like, wow, like I got a taste of it, but then it was leaving. So I was doing everything in my material world to try to keep that, and going to the psychic, and I wanted her to come back, and I wanted like my life to take off. And I remember like my mom going through this situation like in Virginia when they was dealing with a psychic or something, and she had to like clear a curse, but the lady was like, yeah, you cursed. So I gave her all the my money to do the work, and somehow I just ended up being in a deficit. And I remember also being scared about one of the last things she was telling me to do was like dress up, and like it was just a lot of stuff because my stomach was hurting, and again I had like worms or some red worms, but I understood what that supernatural part was. And like she would have me buy everything, so I was like, well, she not doing it, I'm doing everything, and then I'm opening the stuff, and it's like a nest. It was like a nest, and I remember like literally like have taken a shit one time, and I remember seeing like the nest part. So I was scared, like 'cause I don't want nothing else coming out my ass. Like it was like I was freaking out. So like I guess the awakening had to be that traumatic for me to wake up. Like I had to see supernatural things and all of that to happen so I can be like, whoa. So and then what really did it is when that last night and I was scared, and it was like she was like, yeah, the evil, you need to change who you look like because the evil gonna try to follow you. So I think I was like, well, I think I ended up being with the wrong person. I was like, I think I ended up hanging out with the evil, like because he wasn't the person I should have been probably hanging out with at the time. So I remember going out the car, and I was so scared to go in my room because I was like, it was so much stuff that was happening. I was like, I don't want no horror movie to happen in my room or anything. So I remember like praying, like if there's, because I really wasn't like into church or anything, but I grew up like as a Baptist and all that, and then non-denominational, so Christian, I guess. And so I was just like, if there's angels out there, like I need help right now. Like I'm so scared. Where you at? And I remember just like praying with all this like power and fear and needing help. And like so I remember like these like 5 orbs came out of nowhere, and they were like little small like orbs, and they just started like zapping me on my face, and I was like, what the fuck? So the next day I just went to like learn about angels. I went to like the library and started reading, found a book called Action Angels, and it taught me how to make these angel cards that would really act like work and like be doing shit. It was the weirdest thing. I threw them cards away because I was like, too much was happening. But I know now, like, dang, I shouldn't have threw them away. But, it was just like all the traumatic things that was bringing me into like awareness. So I remember being in Delaware. It was a great place to wake up because I just stayed in nature and I just read a lot and I prayed a lot. And I almost got into a cult. Like I was going in the deep end really fast, like getting those letters that saying that famous people want you to, kind of want you to be in their group, and like, and all that, send you. And I was like, what? And it was like, yeah, it's really powerful people. We've been watching you, kind of letter type things. And I was like, I'm not feeling this. I remember like ordering that shit, and like, and then I remember the book feeling so dark. I just threw that shit away. I was like, I don't want that. But then I got into soul realignment. Somehow I was finding things that was guiding me to things. So soul realignment is something that I do for people now as a service. But I had it done on me first. So it made sense. And it was like, oh, you were part of a dark brotherhood at one point. So I was like, oh, that's why they hitting me up, from the past life kind of thing. So it was just like a string of events nonstop. And I just wanted to like be on my feet, but I never was able to kind of be on my feet. Like I was constantly not able to ground in the matrix. I was only able to work a job maybe like 3 months before I was being told to get out of there. But that's where I guess I learned how to collect a lot of information about the matrix and how, it's run, especially by working in it. So yeah, like I've always been a mystic. It's definitely a past life, and even when I was younger, like, and when I was younger, looking back, I was like, oh, I used to like remote view, I guess, a lot. And my psychic abilities was, I would transport myself on the moon. I remember being able to look in crevices and like transport myself in places and looking in those crevices. Like, I don't know, I just never was here before. And then now, like, through the awakening, I definitely just started getting information back. It's like when spirit starts speaking back to you, that's the thing. And I learned a lot about how that works, especially, again, through the soul realignment. And we work with that kind of, those people when, I guess, like they say when there's a prayer, like praying a lot and talking to spirit a lot is what builds your strength and manifestation, because then you build that muscle. So I did that a lot, and I started getting information back like faster. Like it took years though. It took years for me to like not have dark thoughts, like doubts. Like I'm just now, like right now, having like being able to be fully positive, because I learned that all the ups and downs and the waves just take you to the final frontier of just like positivity. Like everything you do, you will get long as you can get it faster the more positive you are. Like, and I was not a positive person, so it took me longer because I was always like, self sabotaging, and that was a big situation for that 11 shit. So undoing of yourself, like the subconscious. So yeah, it was a lot of clearing, a lot of clearing of. So that's where the years went, like the years of rummaging of life of karma. I was told that I came in this lifetime to like clear like lifetimes, two lifetimes of some type of karma, and I was like, oh shoot, you know what I mean? Like, all right, well, I guess I'm gonna get it done. So now I feel like this year is actually going, and I'm coasting, and so I have a smile on my face, and I'm calm, and I'm not taking the breath to life anymore because I had definitely had some blessings come about that allows me to now really move into my next part of my spirituality, which is more purification of my body. Again, people think I'm younger because I moved, like my inner child is housed in my body a lot more, getting rid of the aging as much, and allowing my true inner child to take form before it got disassociated from my vessel. So I guess I had to clear a lot of darkness and stuff before my soul can actually kind of come back into my body, and now we can actually start living the life that I was intended for my higher, for my child, my inner child, and my higher self. So that was a lot.
No, that is interesting, and it's like I love to hear, everybody's journey that leads up to the present, to the coasting, because I do feel that in your energy, especially like the first time we talked and we were experiencing resistance with aligning here, and it was just like whatever spirit wants, that's what's going to happen. I'm like, Ashe, I'm with it. Like, that's the only way we can be for real, because either way, like, the universe is such a big energy. It's like, I mean, is that really an energy you want to be resistant to? Like we experience, and it's crazy because the universe, just like in the eyes of the law, like you're held accountable for things you don't even know. So like the universe didn't care that you were a baby or an infant or a toddler or a teenager, or the universe didn't care about any of that. You're still held accountable. You want to put this kind of energy out? Guess what? And then you're still being held accountable for things in your past life, whether you remembered it or not. I was watching, someone was telling me about Terrence Howard, and then I was watching a video, and he was talking about how he actually was training himself to remember things while he was in the womb. And so like he had the capacity to do that, to where like he's doing it now. And it's just like, I often wonder if there are exercises, to like, expand on your compass book you have, if there are exercises that you can do as a parent to assist your infant in the womb as they're developing, to remember things and to like, you should know these things. And because, the baby can hear in the womb, and then they can hear very well because they're in warm water in the womb. The acoustics in there are amazing, I'm sure. So, I often wonder if there is a way that we could set them up before they even have their birthday on Earth, to where they can go through these different things without feeling like a sense of ignorance, until they get that aha moment, and then it starts pouring into them like, oh, this is this and that is that, and these different things. Yeah, I want to embark on that. I want to open up that chapter because healing other people definitely comes from a space of wounded self, and it's always so beautiful to hear and beautiful to see. Being able to embrace the different things that you've been through, to say I went through these things because these things over here had to happen. Like if you wasn't going through such a vulnerable space, you might not have been open well enough to be poured in by spirit to even hear what you needed to hear when you needed to hear it. You know what I'm saying? Certain circumstances put you on different spaces. And you and I have even gotten into the astrocartography chart and knowing the importance of being in a certain space at a certain time and how important that is for you and for all of us alike. So kudos to you for pushing forward. Kudos to you for being present. Now, in this space and time, as you know, you have this knowledge, you have this awareness. However, the expansion doesn't stop. So where do you see yourself now in the space of expansion and healing?
Just beginning to like move into my power, you know. Before I felt like I was still not knowing who I was, so I was moving like that. But now the more I know who I am, I'm moving like I know my boundaries, I know what I want, I know what I don't, like I can call it how I see it and really like fashion life the way I desire. And so now I'm in the beginning, like the Fool card. I actually have a fresh new start to really build the true me, or the true, not the wounded self, not the karmic soul part. All that is over. So now it's just like allowing spirit to have this new conversation now where I know, what spirit looks like in my life and how to communicate and what I'm going to do next and what I need to know next. I can ask questions and I can get quick answers now. So the relationship is like bomb. Like I'm like, thank you. Like that's kind of all I really wanted. Like I just needed that friendship and the surety. Like, I think when you're young as a child, you want to feel taken care of. You want to feel, no matter how old you are, you still kind of have that desire to like trust. And and when you don't have like the universe or spirit or anything showing you that there is something listening to you and loving you and keeping you safe, then it's it can be challenging. You can get cynical, and then put yourself in a downward spiral because you have doubts. And that was my life, like doing that so much. But because I kept communicating and it was, staying genuine with it, not moving through my ego, really following and having virtues, like, spirit watch, like having my little business. And he just wanted me to see, like, show me, like, spirit just wanted, show me, like, all right, this is what you got. What can you do with this? And, and I did what I did. So you get more, it's always a lesson. It's a lesson in everything. Like we enjoy stuff, but we forget that, all right, you enjoy it, but there is also a lesson. People get things and, I notice, like I feel like in this time, I'm gonna travel a lot more around the world. So I really want to like, I notice when I travel, I can pick up information of the place, and I think I like doing that. So I probably would be talking more about spaces that I go, kind of like a land excavator of energy or something. Just make up my own my own thing. Like I'm a purveyor of energetic purveyor of land, of lands and spaces. Because Philly, it taught me a lot. And then traveling around, again, like I said, I was in the military. I lived in Korea, and I could tap into certain things faster. And I noticed I like doing it. I noticed I like the land. I noticed like it talks, not just spirit. Everything talks. So like my psychic abilities be like, I guess the sensitivities, like I can tap in a little bit more, and I'm getting more sensitive. So I'm being protected more as well, which is I'm always in this green light, part of this green light movement. Just I have my green glasses. I don't even need to have this. It's just the energy around me that's been protecting me, that have maybe made it known like this is the energy that we're working with. So yeah, like I just get messages constantly and I just listen. And right now, yeah, I noticed that people, they don't get a chance to do that often because you get sidetracked. It's so chaotic out there. And I noticed like being out there, you get whirled around, but you always end up landing when you need to be. So if everybody learn how to take fear off of, the unknown, or showing up how you need to show up, and just staying positive and trusting, the magic can happen. We just didn't have a lot more magic here, Like I feel like coming up from the 80s, and I can feel the difference of the magic in the air. Like it used to buzz, like when I was younger, and it used to sound like, I don't know how, maybe like maybe how turned on I was, but a lot of people was turned on like that. Like if you look at the shows like back in the day, like Fame, and like everybody just had so much energy, and because they had access to like happiness and joy a lot more than they had, and they started putting cap on it. So like I don't know, just that bridge born in 81 and like also having friends that are like in the 2000s or or even the 90s, of course. Like I can see a lot of the changes and the shifts, and then in the land talks, because like I go to it with the reverence of remembering what it used to feel like here and what it sound like there. So it talks to me a lot differently, because especially Philly, like oh man, the 80s Philly and now what it is now, like it's still magical here, it's still so strong here. It's just that people, they gotta remember to want to access that magic here, but it's coming. They're not gonna be able to cap it as much as they're trying to, but it's here.
I agree heavily. Like, I was born in 90, but like seeing the difference even between from 90 to 2000 in that 10-year span, it's a big difference in the energy, and the blockage and the spirituality level of the individuals, born in each space. And that's not to say one magic is stronger or better than the other. It just seems to get more angry and more condensed and less. That's what it feels like. It feels more angry and more condensed. And then it's like they don't know where the anger is coming from. And so they're just like expressing something that they don't fully understand. And coming from a more expanded, less condensed, loving space. Like I grew up in the projects, and now when you look at the projects, it's the space where nobody wants to go there, but for somehow, some way, people live there. But when I grew up in the projects, it was a familial space. It was, these are my friends. I can ride my bike around the court. Everybody, knew who my parents were and knew who my aunt, my nana was. It wasn't like this big scary thing that is made to be seen now, and a lot to do with the people that stay there make it a big scary thing now. And it's like, where is this anger? Where is this condensed energy coming from? Because that's not the energy that once was here. And I know a lot of it is to do with when you think about the cycles of our life as the rise and fall of the empires that we've been in. A lot of that condensed anger energy is the aftermath of a lot of crazy situations these individuals were in their past life, and how they were unalived before they came here into this space. A lot of them are reincarnated from being in war, jumping in the ocean, Nanny and the Maroons, that era of space, the revolutions and things like that. A lot of them are being reborn through the revolution. So it's by design that they're here now during the planetary setup of another revolution. Having a Pluto where it's at, is really just like kind of like ringing the bell, if you will, to let these folks know, all right, it's time for y'all to direct your anger. And so for us that are coming from a less condensed air, energy, water, whatever element you is less condensed or whatever, we have to help them direct that. And we have to help them utilize that with the love that we grew up in, because they didn't have that. And it's like the yin and yang of all things. That's how you create a sense of wholeness. And so again, that's why I come back to the mindset of, we're getting our ones and twos, and it's important for us to have them, to share them. It's very beneficial for our own personal journey. But if we're not moving it like a community and trying to make these changes and these, transformations, I won't say it's frugal, but we'll definitely be back and we'll have to do this again. So I don't want to spend more decades on the same issue. I want to come back, in decades of like, okay, we did the transformation, we did the hard work. Now it's time to build. Now it's time to, or at least put our feet up and enjoy the fruits of our labor from these past couple lives. We don't want to keep coming back to the same things. And that's important to focus on in this space and time for us, most definitely with our youth and that condensed energy. And then, like you said, the environment these powers that be have gotten, I won't say smarter, but they definitely got more aggressive and
Mm.
lucid. The aggressiveness, like the
Yeah.
lucidness is wild, because it's like, oh no, none of that's happening. That doesn't exist. That was from the 1800s. Well, I mean, if you do the math, the 1800s not that long ago.
Seriously, it's not at all. It's gonna linger with that kind of force. Like, where do you think it's gonna go?
Right, that was only like 2 grandmas ago.
Yeah, like it's a lot of, it's a lot of yeah. I could definitely feel like they're trying to, like, whoever they are, like, those beings. I don't know. I feel like this is just a school. I like Double Dare or something. They just be throwing stuff over. It's like, all right, we're gonna try and do this. Like, and maybe we think it's serious, but and my inner child just kind of laughs at it. Like, I don't have to subscribe to this, but cute, But it can be fearful. It can get you if you not steadfast in your mentals.
I agree on that. I don't want to internalize a lot of the things that's going on, and it creates a lot of conversations where I get insulted a lot, because I don't internalize a lot of things that are going on, and it's always like, well, wait till it happens to you. Okay, I have a certain level of awareness to where, one, the likelihood of it happening to me is slim, and then two, if it did happen to me, I have a certain level of awareness that wouldn't make me interpret these series of events the way that you guys are choosing to interpret them. So either way, it is what it is. I'm very aware of my electromagnetic field and the different kind of mindset and heart set I have to attract certain things. So with that being said, like, but to get into that conversation with someone instead of like emotionally responding and all that, it creates a lot of triggers and things like that. But it's good that there are beings that aren't falling into it. That's what's important. So to close us out, could you let us know if you have any type of events, any products or services we could be on the lookout for, and also tell us how we can support you in your endeavors and the things that you're trying to do right now.
Okay. For now, I do have a slew of little things that I've been selling. I named myself Kitschy, then I started getting more witchy. So I realized, like, I opened up a frequency I didn't even know I had. So now I've been making all these like little concoctions. Right now I have some miracle, I want to say like a miracle oil. It's called the blood of Yeshua. It's anointing oil for those who would like to do some type of magic and have fun and protect themselves and like open up spaces for miracles and energy and transformation and quick and healing transformation. It's very powerful. So I have that and some oils. Somehow I got shown, I guess I tapped into my hoodoo self from like a past part of myself. So now I've just been like having fun with that and making little potions for people. Like when I was doing massage, I noticed that it can get real hectic with people energy getting dumped on. So I had made some oils for others to put in their massage oil, bottles and things, and you can dab it on yourself. So I have something called the blood of Yeshua. I have a Dambala somehow was working, or he came and was working with me, an anointing oil called Take Off Your Dark. He represents like the pure energy. If you want to like purify your life and bring more energy. So I guess the magic I play with and do in hoodoo is very like healing, positive. And I had to do I definitely did have to do some protection ones. I do have a hex one, which is why I don't really I've been noticing like people famously throw things and they don't know sometimes. So I definitely got caught up in some hexes. So I realized like how I was like, yeah, I need to keep more boundaries up. And that was when I was a Yoda. Kichi not having it now right now. So, but yeah, I definitely had I have that. So people who want to like block themselves and protect themselves, I have protective measures and just positive energy to put on yourself, and energetics to, you know, protect yourself. I think the magic that I have is very strong because, you know, I have other people I've tested on. I also have these other tinctures. I guess I've been making. Um, I guess people who like cannabis, like myself, I realized like I wasn't smoking a lot. I remember going through in my spiritual path, like being sober, like I had to really kick a lot of addictions and things. And so I would go and fast and cleanse from a lot of things for long periods of time. And, you know, cannabis is one of them. But recently, Spirit was like, yeah, you can partake. And I was like, what? Okay, this is crazy. I'm not used to being given the okay for that. But it took me on a journey to realize, like, yeah, I still don't want to smoke because I like to sing and use my voice. And I'm just starting to open up that gift. So I don't want to, like, damage it anymore. And I really want to, like, honor it. So I started making these tinctures of cannabis. And just how, like, the other stuff is witchy, I realized, like, it has its own mind. Like, I take it. Sometimes I feel it, sometimes it don't. Like, it has its own relationship with me. So I'm like, oh, okay, I'm learning it's doing that now. So so like I just been around making like things like that. I still do. I still have my website, www.itl3c.com. Again, that's www.itl3c.com. Intuitive touch, 3C's. I was like conjure creations and also intuitive touch. So I was adding all of that into that website. But yeah, I still do soul reports. I do a report for people called Soul Scrolls. That's kind of the higher end. Like, these are the premium stuff. I don't expect everybody to just like pay that much. But those who want, you know, they can. But it's just a lot of work. So I definitely, like, if somebody's waking up and they want all the information that they can possibly find on them, like, I'm the type of person that would just like make a big Bible about the person and find everything I possibly can from their mind, body, and soul, as well as the soul realignment, which kind of allows people to like restart, get a refresh, like by clearing some past life stuff, some past life blocks that are really blocking this way, and then it gives your higher self a chance to take more control and get more in the control seat. So like, it safeguards you if you go off your path. So like, if you start veering off, you'll feel it automatically. Like, things that start happening. That's kind of what happened to me, and I realized like, oh, that's what it does. Like, it just keeps me on track. Like, my higher self is really in control now. Like, it's like it takes you out of like free will and just puts you in divine will. So it comes with homework. It's like a 21-day decree you gotta say. Like, so if you really want changes, you're gonna say this long ass decree every day. But it just fosters like ritual and coming to spirit and talking, like I was saying, like developing that relationship. But once you do that, then it clears a lot of stuff, and then I clear it on, as well on my end, as I go through, like, see what, you know, we do the soul profile part, shows you what your spiritual gifts are, like a primary, secondary. If you're one spirit in your body, you have more than one. If there's some blocks that you came when you were born, if you had any other like shells from other spirits from the hospital, like it goes into like so many different things. So and then I do like psychic report readings, like, so if anybody want to know like the big list of like what psychic abilities they have, I have that as well. And that's fun, especially if you have like a boo, then, you know, like they get their psychic report and you get yours, and you be like, oh, that's why we communicate differently, or you be like, that's why we sync here, because then you'll find out what gifts you have and what you don't, and then you be like, oh, okay, so your body's like that way, and you sense things that way, and you're only going to pick up information that way, and you're wired that way, you know. So it's really cool for that. And yeah, and then I got a couple little things on there from Fiverr that I like, little gigs and things, but I'm getting rid of that too, because I'm about to start school soon and just kind of focus on changing my diet. And yeah, like I'm about to go into like hermetic mode next spirit shift and see what happens from there.
I love it for you. And I'm glad we got to catch you before you went into hermit mode.
Yeah, word.
I
Seriously.
ain't gonna hold you. Like, I love the like feeling your energy now versus when I first met you, and then thinking about your name. And the Yoda is like, that sounds emotional. It sounds like water. It sounds like intuition and just like the healing Yoda. And then you go from Kitchi to Kachina. That sounds like the kitchen. We in the kitchen and we cooking. It sounds like, you're making, the herbal remedies, and those herbal remedies is like forget the Disney movie when the brooms and stuff were dancing by themselves and stuff like that. Like, you're making remedies that dance by themselves. Like, you, I hear it and I feel it in you. I'm excited for the next chapter and the soul that's going to be birthed out of that, because it sounds like you're about to go back in the womb, and I love that for you. That's so important for us to continuously do when we need to do it. And it's crazy that we are born in a society, not so much as an environment, it's a society, because the environment embraces us going into the womb as many times as we need to. But we've created a world that tells us that it's not okay, and it makes it difficult. And when you do go in the world, they're shooting. It's always paper. That's their magic. Their magic is paper. And it's like, I could burn paper. I could set that whole fire. I could rip it up. I could throw it in the trash. I can crumble it. It doesn't change what my purpose is. It doesn't change what I'm supposed to be doing. It's just, everything is just paper. Like, even to the space of death. Death is determined by what's written on a big piece of paper. But we know nothing dies here. But because you wrote it on a piece of paper, it died. Like, that's crazy. It's childish to me, if you will, like that kid you don't really like to play with, because when you're in the middle of playing, they start changing the rules, and it's like, I don't want to be playing with you. Like, we're playing tag, and now you're making up a whole bunch of reasons why you're not it. I'm not it because I was on one foot. I'm not it because I got one finger in the air. Like, what are we doing right now? So I appreciate you for your time and your energy. You gave us a lot to think about and chew on our personal journeys. I appreciate you for your vulnerability and the things that you've been going through. I'm sure that people who have heard these sound waves in the past and were anticipating them, or people that was present in the live today, or people that's going to hear you in the future, I'm pretty sure that they can take some pieces out of your journey and relate to them, and hopefully assist them expounding on transmuting these so-called wounds. I don't like the word wounds, and challenge their challenges to provide us with the strength that we need and the information that we need to take where we need to take it to, whether it's people, places, things, situations, events in this life or in the next life, or whatever, what have you. It's just things that we need to pass along. We're passing the baton, we're passing notes in class. That's what we essentially doing. We're passing the notes in the class. And, I appreciate you being vulnerable with the notes that you had, that helped you in your journey, because I definitely know and hear it helping other people that are going through these things, going through trying to find their purpose through a 3D job, going through trying to find their soul companion, and ending up in heartbreak and finding some type of healing in that, and some type of way of walking in their purpose in that. People being more mindful and intentional about where they live. And you got me paying attention. I went to a couple different high schools. The one that I actually graduated from, their what do you call it?
Mascot?
I don't even forgot what it's called, but it was a dog. It was a Scotty dog. And
what kind of dog?
It was a Scotty.
Oh, wow.
A furry dog. That was the mascot. That was the mascot. And so, thinking about that, and my son is a dog on the Chinese astrology. And I had my son when I was in high school. So, and just, thinking about things like that, putting those different things together. Everything is just so much in divine alignment, including this meeting and how it happened.
I'm glad. 9/11 right now, too.
9/11, 448. We love it here. We're supposed to meet up on these numbers and everything just to talk about this balance of the 3D realm and the spirituality. So thank you for that. And thank you for everybody that tuned in.
No, I appreciate you for having me. Like it's always dope talking to you. You know, we can go off and go in a lot of times, and then the group that you have too. I love that. I love that it's there. It's so needed. You're just doing so much, and so I just want nothing but success. You know, for you. I know the toiling is real. The movement is real. Not it's so many powerful people like that are like sometimes not displaced but just doing this hard like laborious work of grounding like through struggle and like moving through force fields. It's a lot, and I never see nobody doing it like you like that. And I know like I said, very powerful people. I know 33 joints. Like they like, yeah, my money situation, wow, but they got all the information on how to heal you, you know. But they working. Everybody's toiling at their purpose, and everything is coming, and the platforms and all of that, and it's great. Like just thank you again, just for holding space and being who you are. You're such a light and positive, despite all. And that's where you get your rewards. All that energy that you put in and still staying positive. That comes back as the money. That comes back as the foundation. That comes back as that spiritual wealth right there. And you just building it all up right now in that bank. And then as you ground it on the planet, as you ground it within yourself, it's going to ground on the planet. So now more people have that pathway. You're just building pathways. So I just think this is so dope for you. So just thank you.
Y'all be getting me so teary-eyed with the feedback. Thank you. Just confirmation I'm doing something right.
Yes, you are.
We're going to close out with a breath.
Yes. Thank you again.
Yes, thank you. Peace, y'all.
All right. Peace out, everyone.